Give it a second, let everything go live.
Let me know, 'cause I'm not fucking around over here. Cause I don't want to sound like a robot again.
Well, we all know secretly you are a robot, so.
Yes, I am. Well, let me get my iPad just in case.
Oh, only works if I type it right. Here. Turn that off. All right.
We're live on Twitch, right?
Yeah, we're live. I'm just doing
We're live.
I'm doing the tags now, Danny, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, cool. What's up, everyone?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I have no idea what's going on. I'm checking on. Oh, Mandy.
Yes.
You gotta check out Tetris Effect.
Oh, I meant to watch you streaming it the other day, and I was busy.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I'm planning to record a review with my brother today. Hopefully today, cause he's gonna get a PlayStation VR. I want to try that out to see how it is. Oh man, that game is so good.
Everybody's been spazzing out about it. I'm quite I don't want to say surprised, but it's interesting.
It's good. It's good because I played a lot of Tetris, especially with my brother, because that's like our game that we always play together from the back in the days. This one is different, and they had like a community event yesterday. So all of us, we have to get points within all the community from the Tetris community in order for us to like unlock an avatar. I think we unlocked a new level too, a 1989 level from the original Game Boy. So it's like everything is like in green. It's so cool.
Nice.
Music is good too.
Nice. All right, we can do a quick audio check. Make sure everybody on the Twitch stream can hear us.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, friends.
Hola.
Is it? How do you say that name? Cuddle Pudgeons?
Yes.
Yep.
I did it right.
Cool.
Yep. We should be fine. I think we're fine.
Sweet.
We should be able to go.
Good morning, everyone.
All right. So here it goes. All right, welcome to Gamer Tag Radio, episode 812. This is your host, Danny, and joining me this week, co-host of the show, and also special guest. But let's start with the crew here. We have Pete in the house. Pete.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, man. Birthday week, right?
Yeah. Official birthday is Tuesday, but we got it cracking as of yesterday.
Awesome, man.
Had a really good weekend. Got out to go do the Jaguar Electrifies event down in Miami, Florida. Went out to Wynwood and got to drive the new F-Pace SUV. Got to drive the E-Pace on a closed circuit. So as of yesterday afternoon, I was 26 out of 185 racers on that circuit. So it was really dope.
Nice. And also joining us this week is Paris. What's going on, Paris? Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, man. How was your trip, man? How was your trip overall, man? It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. I kind of touched on it a little bit on the previous episode, but it was great. Always getting a chance to, play the game and do all that. Battlefield 5 is an amazing title, but like I always say, it's the people that make trips like that great. So met a lot of amazing people that are in the Battlefield, EA Game Changer program, and made some new friends out of that, which is always good. And then of course I'm there with Hip Hop Gamer, and he is entertaining all by himself. So,
One way of putting it.
Yep.
And we have also a special guest here, Mandy, aka Ladyluck. What's up? What's up, Mandy?
Doing good. It's cold here, unlike the rest of you in warm places.
So, what made you wanted to join this episode? Because I know you hit us up on Twitter.
Mostly to pick a fight with Paris, just because.
Okay.
But
as a sneak peek for later on.
As a sneak peek for later on, there might be arguing.
All right, cool. So head over to gamertagradio.com, post your comments and feedback. You could also listen to the podcast, different podcast apps, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Radio Public, and other podcast directories. Make sure to subscribe and share with your friends. All right, so yesterday was X018. I watched the whole presentation. It was like about 2 hours or so. Any of you got to watch it live or just read like the announcements or anything?
I caught up on it afterwards.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
bits and pieces live. Like I said, I was at my son's game, so I was just peeking in and out when I had a chance. But yeah, I've seen all the information since.
Yeah, so I'll start with this. I was checking out like the reaction from Twitter, and a lot of people were was saying that it's not like E3 and they should have more announcements. And then I started comparing previous XO events from way back in the days, from the original Xbox to now. This one had the most announcements out of all the XOs. So that was they also had 2 studio announcements, which was big. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But yeah, the thing that it started the show like with this was the PUBG now into Game Pass. Now you could subscribe to Game Pass. Actually, now for the first month, you only pay for $1. For it's like a special right now. And yeah, you get PUBG, you get all these other games, you get Crackdown. They were really pushing Game Pass from the beginning to the show all the way to the end, man. So that's really, really cool. One announcement that got my attention was Hellblade. That I've never played that game. I know it was released for previously for the PlayStation 4, and then it came out for the Xbox. But yeah, it's also going to be available for Game Pass. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to try it out for the first time because I have Game Pass. I'm thinking what other announcements, man. Yeah, they show a new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. That was really cool. Mouse and keyboard update coming up next week for Xbox One users. I mean, I'm not into that. That's if you guys.
I was gonna say, because if you were gonna feign excitement about keyboard and mouse support on Xbox,
We would have been
really?
like, "You're an imposter."
not my thing at all. But I could see why other people would like it. You know what I'm saying? Now, they announced a couple games that's already going to be available once the update goes live next week, and Fortnite is one of them. So that's cool. Now I'm wondering how's that going to work, man? Because if I have a controller and I'm playing with another Xbox player online, but they have mouse and keyboard, isn't that kind of like unfair because of the mouse and keyboard?
I mean,
No?
I guess it could be, but I'm assuming it's going to be similar to PC games that the developer has to code in support for controller. So it's like, hey, you're choosing to use a controller on your PC when everybody else is mouse and keyboard. It's just, pros and cons.
Yeah. They also made a quick announcement that Razer is going to be their partner, exclusive partner for mouse and keyboard. They're going to have some products announcement, I believe, at CES early next year. So, but overall, guys, what are your thoughts about this, man? About XO18 overall?
I feel like it's in line with what kind of the message that Xbox has been sending for the past year plus, which is that they're really focused on supporting, expansions and DLCs for their first-party titles, and then really trying to drive people towards this being their system for multiplats, either through Game Pass or by, partnering and showing off stuff from third-party developers. So there wasn't really any surprise, but it also was like, if you're already in on Xbox, this just supports it. If you aren't, I don't really feel like there was a ton here that pushed you to say, I should have an Xbox.
Now, when you say there was no surprise, studio announcements, that was huge. That was a big, that was a pretty big announcement. No?
I mean, it is, but they've announced studio announcements the last few times as well. So I look at it and be like, oh, great. It's super exciting that they have Obsidian, for example, because knowing what Obsidian has done, you're like, oh, this is going to be neat. But then at the same time, you're like, purchasing a studio and having that studio turn around and put something out that drives people to want your platform is two different things. Because, I mean, look what's happened with like Rare and Sea of Thieves. It got a lot of attention. It's still getting good support, but it wasn't like the game changer for people to want Xbox. And it's just a long time coming. Like, this is them playing the long game. This is them saying, hey, we haven't built as many first party studios as some of our other partners have, or some of our other competition. So we're going to bring in these studios into our family. And then in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the line in the next gen, they're going to be ready to deliver. So it's neat to see, but it's not a game changer right now.
Yeah, and they mentioned we talked about the Obsidian thing about a month ago after that news dropped. The In Exile Entertainment, I think, was if it's going to be a surprise, it would be that one, because we didn't anticipate that studio would have been picked up.
Well, let's be real. It got leaked. The Obsidian news. It got leaked.
Because Kotaku reported about Kotaku talked about it last month, but and we talked about it briefly here on the show as well. The In Exile Entertainment Group was the one that we didn't anticipate or didn't figure out or assume that would be purchased. But I agree with Mandy. I don't think that anything came out of this one as groundbreaking.
No, I disagree with you guys.
Of course you disagree, but my opinion on this is pretty simple.
Because it's the truth. I'll tell you why. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just want to give my opinion. That's all, and then you can disagree with all three of us. But no, I mean, it's none of this is surprising of what came out of this event, nor was this event. No one going into this event should have thought big major announcements was coming out of this. This is not what this is for. It's very similar to what Sony does with PlayStation Experience, right? The heavy emphasis was on, again, their services, Game Pass. Big push for Game Pass, more announcements for games that are going to be a part of Game Pass. Obviously showing off, the multiplayer mode for Crackdown 3 and pushing up the release date was big for them because it's showing confidence in that title, which I think is great.
Finally releasing.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is, and I've said this for the longest, it's not about 2018. It's not about 2019 for Microsoft. It's about getting to 2020 and beyond, because that's when they're going to push their new hardware. That's when their services are going to kind of hit their peak of maturity, and they're gearing up for that next generation of gaming. That's why you're seeing this heavy emphasis on Game Pass right now. They want to get people used to subscribing to play in their games, and they want to give you compelling reasons to want to subscribe. So sure, put PUBG on there. Obviously, all the new Microsoft first-party titles are going on there, and if they're able to get certain third-party partners to also join them on Game Pass, that's just a win for them. I've said it a million times. For $10 a month, $120 a year, Game Pass is a great value, and Microsoft is leading what is going to be the future of consuming gaming content via subscription. That's what's happening right now. And I'm not saying it's happening anytime soon, but eventually you're going to see their competitors do the same thing. I mean, EA is already doing something kind of sort of with Origin Premier, but you're going to see more publishers go to the subscription model, because once you get hooked onto that subscription, now that's a solid number that they can depend on every month, every year. Of you picking up, of you subscribing to their games. I just think it's a great value. I think we both win in that scenario.
See, like Paris, I know during E3, you said that was like one of your favorite press conferences that happened earlier this year with Microsoft. And the reason was, the future, they had a lot of studio announcements, right? And the majority, actually, maybe like 100% of the announcements from the studio announcements at E3, it wasn't leaked. That was the first time that Microsoft announced that at E3, right? But I think that if it wasn't for the Obsidian getting leaked to Kotaku, I think they would have a bigger impact at XO. But now that everybody knows, not everybody, but the people that read it on at Kotaku, then yeah, it wasn't a big announcement because it got leaked. So I think as an overall presentation, yeah, it was good. It wasn't no E3, but they had some big announcements, I think, at this event, man. Especially PUBG coming to Game Pass. And the reason why that's happening is because the rumor is PUBG is coming out with PlayStation 4 next month, and they're going to announce that during Game Awards. So that's the rumor. But the studio announcement, I think that was huge, man. I think it was really, really big in my opinion, man. You know, at previous, if you check out like the history of other XO events, Microsoft will always just announce maybe a game or two. This is the first time in their history of all the XO events that they announce multiple studio announcements at the event.
But how many people are comparing it to old XO events?
Exactly.
I guess like my thought was like honestly I forgot it was happening yesterday until I saw people tweeting about it. Hold on. And then and then it was one of those where it's like, okay, I kind of expected it to be like PlayStation Experience or something. There'd be a couple announcements. So it's just one of those that, you know, big is relative. Like, yeah, it's super neat that they got In Exile and Obsidian. And it'll be interesting to see what they do in the future. But right now it's just going, oh, that's neat. I'm not going to run out and buy an Xbox because of it. So I guess that's like the game changer that I would expect here is, did they put out something that people were suddenly like, dude, I need an Xbox right now? Everything else, again, is the long game. It's getting people to be thinking about what's down the line and will probably be most impactful for them in the next generation of their consoles.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not about whether we knew about Obsidian ahead of time or not. Sure, that's freaking great. Obsidian, you know, one of the best game studios out there, period. It's now a part of Microsoft. You're now going to see an exclusive Western RPG type game exclusive to Xbox. That's great. But that does nothing in 2018. Yeah, nothing in 2018 or 19. No, but that's the point. You keep, oh, this is a big deal. Sure, but it doesn't affect anyone today. This is something, the first Obsidian game you're most likely going to see is what, 2021 at the earliest. So that doesn't do anything to get anyone to buy an Xbox today. Again, Microsoft has tapped on this generation. They are all these announcements, everything they're doing is about the future. It's not about the present anymore.
You know,
the future.
They interviewed Phil at the event very quick, and he's always throwing some hints on what's coming. And he talked a lot about Windows, that, you know, the feedback about the Xbox app, a lot of people don't like it. He said they're really working on that to make some changes. They're making some changes in that, so that's cool.
Well, they're making changes to the store, because trying to buy a game on the PC through the marketplace versus trying to buy it on the Xbox marketplace are two totally disparate environments right now. Like trying to go through the Windows Store to find the games that you had already purchased to maybe reinstall it or install it for the first time is a chore. And quite frankly, makes me not want to play Xbox games on the PC.
Yes, like I have legitimately skipped a couple of the first party titles that I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy it, because I just didn't want to have to deal with buying it through the Windows Store. Yeah,
it damages the fan-friendly nature of what Game Pass is supposed to be by making it inherently difficult to access via the Windows Store. So if there's anybody that can do it, obviously, you know, Phil Spencer has been really, really good at transforming, you know, what Xbox has been about over the last couple of years. And I'm glad to hear that aside from Xbox Game Pass and stuff, you know, that whole thing, I'm glad to see that they're actually acknowledging the PC, you know, component of their fan base to try to make it easier, because quite frankly, I have Game Pass as well, but it makes me not want to try to go and peruse through that thing to try to get, if they could tie it to the Xbox app, that would make things that much easier, because I could just go through the Xbox app, click, you know, the game, give me a buy button or give me an install button from there, because it's already installed on my PC by default, and we go from there. But if it forces me to go into the store, quite frankly, I'd rather not.
Yeah. Pass.
Yeah. Well, I wish that they should have showed a couple games like Battletoads, maybe the new Cuphead DLC that they were planning to release soon.
It's not what this event was for, though.
But no, I know.
I mean,
your dream came true.
That would have been cool, but I think they're gonna save that for maybe Video Game Awards, or because Microsoft did announce that they're bringing back Winter of Arcade. So I'm excited about that, because do you remember the old Summer of Arcade? That was a lot of fun. They were always releasing some great games at that time. Yeah, we'll see, man. I think I think they're gonna have a couple of cool games there, man, for the winter. So,
and because I have to talk about it, I know you mentioned it briefly, the PUBG going to PlayStation 4 thing. How valid is that? How legitimate is that potential leak that is going to PlayStation, especially with Microsoft saying, look, it's coming to Game Pass, in a couple of months or whatever, or coming soon?
Well, the exclusive contract is already done. Like I know it was only for a year. Now the game is already out retail wise. So for the Xbox, so it's going to be the same thing for PlayStation. Now the way how I found out about that is because Amazon already posted it. There's a page that says December 8th, and that's the same day as the Game Awards. There you go. So
yeah, I think I saw it as like it was a retailer listing is what I saw.
That one too. Yeah, I mean there was other leaks, but the way how I found out was through the Amazon website. So, I mean, now is that gonna help them big time?
Right, but again, that's just a retailer listing. That's not actual confirmation that it's being done. I'm not trying to act as an apologist for it. I'm just curious because unless there is the agreement, and obviously we haven't heard about it, games on Game Pass traditionally wouldn't be on a third-party platform, right? Or on a competitive platform.
Traditionally, but don't they have a few that they've like gotten a couple of third-party, maybe indies or something to?
Well, I know, like Final Fantasy, like I think they're going to unlock the entire collection or something like that, or like a large gamut of the collection on Game Pass. But I just find it very, very awkward that they're going to have this available on Game Pass. It's allegedly their console exclusive. Extremely surprised that they haven't locked that down for exclusivity, because with everything that they're trying to do, and that I don't understand why Sony is honestly accepting it to get onto their platform with as many bugs as it's had from the console perspective, and I don't know how they're going to make it any better over there.
It's the name of the game, man. The brand PUBG. It's pretty big for Sony. They would like to have that, man. And it's great for the developers too to really release it there, because look at Fortnite, look at Blackout, these other games that is available in every other console and PC, but not PUBG. I think this is gonna help them, man. You know what I'm saying? To release it on the PlayStation. So that's just. And let's see what else, man. Is there any? Oh, by the way, this a topic that I really want to talk about with El Señor Paez. Paez, what's up, man? By the way, so here is an article that I know I brought it up in our chat, but I definitely want to hear your opinion about this. Activision had a conference call a couple days ago. The earning call that happens all quarterly throughout the year. But they say that Activision said that it's not happy with Destiny sales. So, as a fan, what are your thoughts about that, man? What was it that hurt this game?
Since the release. First and foremost, I'm not surprised at all that Activision was disappointed with sales. I think Forsaken, I saw somewhere it came in as eighth best-selling title for the month of September, something like that. But here's the thing. They screwed the pooch a year ago with Vanilla Destiny 2, and then along with the subsequent DLCs that came out. They lost the trust of the community, period, point blank. When we've talked about this a million times, so I won't go over it too much, other than to simply say they made Destiny 2 more skewed towards a casual audience, which pissed off the hardcore audience. You bogged it down with different microtransactions and other things to try and push people to buy things out of Eververse, and they lost the community. They did. That's just a fact. Forsaken is the fix for that. Forsaken is a fantastic expansion for Destiny 2. It got Destiny back to what made Destiny good, which is making it that investment hobby type of game where you're grinding, you're chasing things. The raid was fantastic, things like that. But it takes time. There was no way that you could expect everyone to, after you got burnt once with Destiny 1, where it took the Taken King to fix that. So then you took everything great out of Destiny 1 and stripped it out going into Destiny 2. So you burn the community twice. A lot of people are just done and they're not coming back. And sure, the hardcore people like me, we're still there. We still play. But the on the fence people, the casual audience, it's going to take a lot for them to come back. And Forsaken is just step one in that process. Now we got to see, what is this first DLC that's going to come out in December? What is that going to look like for season 5? What is the DLC that's going to come out in spring? What is that going to look like? They got to keep this content rolling. They got to keep earning the trust back of the community. And the fact that, because Luke Smith even came out and tweeted something, I'll read exactly what he said. He goes, Luke Smith says, "We are not disappointed with Forsaken. We set out to build a game that Destiny players would love, and at Bungie, we love it too. Building Destiny for players who love it is and will remain our focus going forward." And that is 100% what it needs to be. They need to make Destiny for people like me, not for people like Mandy, right?
Wow.
Chasing Mandy, because hear me out for just a second. Because chasing Mandy is pointless, because if you get Mandy, sure, Mandy will check it out for a month, maybe, and then she's gone. She's off to playing other stuff. Same with, people like Danny. You're gone. You're not going to stick around. I'm the guy that's going to stick around. So you need to build a game that's going to excite me so that I'm on social media tweeting about it. I'm streaming it. I'm doing capture videos, all this stuff, right? I'm the person you want. I'm not even obviously as a content creator, but even just a hardcore average player. You want to chase that guy that wants to be a Sherpa to take people through a raid, or it's constantly on there grinding for stuff. You need to make that game. And that's what I think Bungie's going back to. And I've said this conspiracy theory a million times. Bungie's out after Destiny 3. I'm telling you right now, they're going to launch Destiny 3, and then they're going to hand this over to Vicarious Visions, and they're gone. Because the reason being is, no, I will not sit down, Mandy. No. Because the reason being is Activision, with them coming out with this call saying they're disappointed with the sales of Forsaken, and that they want to find other ways to monetize it. That's the problem right there. They're going to, I'm not saying that Bungie's going to do this. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's straining the relationship between Bungie and Activision, in that if you try to bog down Destiny 2 again with a bunch of microtransaction stuff, pushing people towards Eververse and things like that, that's just going to piss off the hardcore audience again. Casual audience isn't going to come back, and you're going to be left with a dead IP. And I'll say this and I'll shut up. As much as I love this game, and you know how much I love this game, so much so I think I'm tapping on the PlayStation 4 for good, and I'm going to go full PT at this point. But as much as I love this game, I feel that the IP may have been damaged to the point that it's never going to fully recover at this point. I just do. We'll see what the future holds. We'll see what the future holds. I mean, I'm going to continue to play. I'm going to continue to love it and do all that stuff. But I don't know. I think Destiny, is number-wise, may have already seen its peak. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that. I think they took a hit that is going to be hard for even the casual people to come back and reconsider Destiny in the future, whether it's an expansion or whether it's, Destiny 3. Now that I have my chair back.
But see, the thing that the Powers was saying, that to make the hardcore fans happy, yeah, that's great for Bungie, not great for Activision, because Activision is all about the money. They just want to get more money, not only from Call of Duty, but also from this franchise. So I don't know. I think after a while we might see a major change. Like you said, Bungie's probably going to be done after 3, and Activision is going to get new developers then, instead of having Bungie to work on it.
Yeah, but does Bungie who owns the Destiny IP? Bungie does, right?
They do, but there's ways you can negotiate things.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it might just be Halo again, where they get to the end and say, here you go, we'll sell you the IP and move on. That said, I am interested to see how it goes with I'm assuming Activision making Destiny 2 on PC. Like, I was able to add it to my account, the base game on battle.net for free. And so I wonder if they're going to be able to hook people in to be like, oh, I guess I'll try it. And then be like, oh, I need I need the DLC or the expansion to make it worth something, and see if that gives them like a turnaround to people coming back in.
Well, that's their hope. Their hope is that's why you can get it free on PlayStation Plus right now. And then obviously they're doing the thing in the month of November. You can get it free on Battle.net for the PC. Is give them the base game. First hit is free, right? And hopefully the way that the game is structured right now, you'll basically fall in love with it and enjoy doing the activities in Destiny 2. And you go, oh, wait, I want to continue this. And then you go pick up Forsaken. That's their hope with doing this. I'm not 100% sure that's going to work necessarily.
I added it to my account. I haven't actually installed it or done anything yet. So,
because here's the problem. Here's the problem with Destiny's pricing model right now. Yeah, you have to go pick up Forsaken is a $40 investment, which, okay, ton of content. It is absolutely worth the $40. Black Armory, which is the first piece of DLC that comes out with an annual pass, is in December. So that's the next thing that you're going to have to do. Guess what? Annual pass is $30. So you're going to have to invest $70 into Destiny 2 to continue playing that game over the next calendar year. A lot of people's not going to do that. There's Red Dead out there. There's, Call of Duty, Battlefield's out. Hell, you got just the Murderer's Row that's going to drop in the spring of games. There's a lot of freaking games.
There's a 6-week period that's terrible. Yeah. Pokemon next week, Smash in December.
Smash. But the thing is this, Destiny was a unicorn back in 2014. There was nothing else like it, right? But now as we go into 2019, there's Anthem, there's The Division, obviously there's all these other titles that are out there. There's all these excellent open world type games that give you a ton of things to do and to chase now. So Destiny isn't as unique as it was 4 years ago. So with that said, and you've burned your community a couple times. So you start adding all that stuff up. Where's my incentive to want to continue to invest a bunch of money into your IP? There isn't. Because I have choices. There's other things I can be playing and investing my money into. So they have it's an uphill battle for them to regain the trust of the community. And like I said, I guarantee you, there are people that were hardcore into Destiny a couple years ago that are simply not coming back. Trust me, I've had offline conversations with some of the bigger streamers out there, and some of them have moved to Fortnite, and while they may still love Destiny, that's not where they make their money anymore. Their money's in Fortnite and other games. So guess what? Those are the games they're going to highlight on their streams. And I think that has a lot to do with it too. If Destiny is no longer the preferred game to stream, then there you go. You're going to lose audience right there, because the people that watch these top streamers, they're not playing Destiny anymore. They're playing other things. So then because they see their favorite streamer playing Red Dead or Fortnite or whatever, they're probably going to go play that too. And just real quick, and I'll be quiet again. The Fortnite phenomenon is another thing that is completely screwing Destiny right now and other games, because it's free to play. And the only money that you put into it is the money that you want to put into it. You're not forced to spend money to be able to play that game and enjoy it. And I think that's another big thing too.
Yeah. Any opinion about this? You've been kind of quiet over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, the opportunity to download it on Battle.net and get it for free does help. Just playing with friends, they have mentioned, I put it up on my Battle.net account, so that it gives them a chance to actually play it and check it out and see if they're actually interested. Whether it holds their attention for an extended period of time and, like Paris said, draws them into the DLC ecosystem, remains to be seen. People love free games until it's not free anymore. And so it'll be interesting to see how many people actually start to gravitate towards Destiny 2 on PC because it was free, and whether they stick around or not. I'm curious to see what or how a third title will do. Is it worth Activision's while, and is it worth Bungie's while? They'll want to do it, but is it worth the time sink investment from both sides, from the developer as well as the consumer, to go that route? There's always that question, especially now. Like Paris said, their consumer base, their core consumer base, the ones that they're supposed to be targeting, are burnt. do they want to do this for a third time? Do they want to jump back into that, knowing that they're going to, or with the feeling that they will get burnt again? And it's like, how many times can you continue to do that to your player base before they just turn around and say, we give up? We love you, but we can't do this anymore. It's kind of like having that crazy ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Like, you love them and you keep coming back, but it's like, they're still crazy. So,
oh God.
That's so funny. But another thing that helped the original Destiny, and I mentioned this to Paris a couple of days ago, is that it was also available for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. A lot of people have those consoles too. So, of course, it makes sense that the original Destiny had more sales than this one. So I think the only way that can help them maybe for the next generation console is release 3 on the new consoles, right? The next PlayStation, the next Xbox, but also have it available for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC. Do you think that's going to be enough, Paris? Do you think that's going to help Bungie and Activision with the sales if that happens?
Well, I'm sure, again, we're probably looking at 2020 for Destiny 3. I highly doubt it's going to be this, September 2019. So let's say September 2020, it'll come out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and then we know PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox is probably November of 2020. So then it'll be available on that as well, probably have whatever enhancements, and it'll be the same thing that we're talking about the previous generation when Destiny 1 came out. Yeah, there'll be more people probably picking it up because, again, Destiny 3, new IP, sequel thing, blah, 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 probably more hardcore, whatever. But I think for what Activision is expecting Destiny to sell like Call of Duty, in my opinion. That's not going to happen anymore. It's not.
It's a different type of game. It doesn't have the same history. I mean, as you said, like one of the things that made Destiny successful out of the gate was it was the first thing Bungie had done post Halo.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So like there was this idea that everybody had this great vision of what it could be, and everybody had faith on what Bungie was going to deliver. I remember having arguments with people that they're like, yeah, the story is going to be great. And I'm like, nope, I have my questions, and things like that. So you kind of came in with a blank slate, whereas now you're talking about sequels. That's not the case anymore because everybody's now played Destiny 1. They've seen Destiny 2. Destiny 3 is like, can you convince people that, assuming that this will close out a trilogy, that they need to play that third game?
Yep.
Yeah, and going back to something Pete said, it's a fine line because, or maybe Mandy said this, apologies, but it's a fine line of bringing in the casual audience, but also appeasing the hardcore. I've had multiple conversations over the past year about this with Destiny and just the approach that they need to go. And a lot of people I've talked to, we all agree, just double down on the people that you can depend on, which is your hardcore audience, which is, if you look at Forsaken, that's the steps that they're taking now. They're making this a hardcore game, which, in turn is going to turn off the casual audience, which in turn means it's not going to sell on a Call of Duty level. And I just think for the health of the IP and for the game and just for the community that they've built around the game, that's the approach they need to do. And if the rumors are true about Destiny 3, they're going to double down even more on making this a hardcore experience, making this more of an RPG experience, which is what I want it to be, which is what I've always wanted it to be since I first heard about this game in 2013. I love doing raids and all that stuff, and it's great, and it's some of the best cooperative experiences you can have in gaming. But we've been doing it for 4 years now. We got to do something more. There has to be a next step with this IP. And the only way you're going to get there is to make it more hardcore. So I hope that's what happens. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Like I said, it just sounds like at the end of the day, the relationship between Activision and Bungie is just going to continue to be strained. And like I said, it's going to reach a breaking point. And at some point, Bungie is going to leave the franchise. And similar to what Halo, hand it off to the publisher. They're already taking steps to start up a new IP, and that's just what I think they're going to do in the next generation. They're going to finish this one, then move on to their next IP, post 2020.
You got to pick a lane.
Right, so,
come on.
All All right, so we're gonna play this audio that I recorded with my brother. We had a nice discussion here about Tetris Effect for the PlayStation 4, and after that, we'll come back and wrap it up. We'll be right back after this. All right, so we're back here. Gamer Tag Radio, Mandy, get Tetris Effect. You would love it. It's awesome.
On my list.
It's awesome. Yeah. Anything else, guys? I know Black Friday is coming up very soon. Are you guys planning to pick up any new games, any new consoles, anything?
I may, and I don't think it's going to go on sale, but it'll probably be post Black Friday. I'll get Red Dead at some point, but I was looking to see if maybe I might get lucky and see a deal during Black Friday, and so far the leaks, I'm not seeing anything.
It's too
really
close to the release.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. Rockstar is so confident with that game. They're like, yeah, we're good. We're gonna keep it the same. That's it.
Well, and they're selling on it, so I don't think I have anything that's like I did all of my like major Black Friday shopping last year, like bought the TV, all of those things. So I think for me, it's just getting to a couple of these last releases for the year. Pokemon next week, Smash in the beginning of December. So it's less about like sales and more about like things that I want. Please come out.
What about you, P? Are you planning to get anything? Is P there?
Silence.
Sorry, I've muted again.
Mute yourself again?
The dog was barking in the background. So I'm still on the fence. Obviously, I know the joke. The running joke is, I'm going to be sitting there like Squidward looking out the window. But to be honest, I don't know if I'm having FOMO anymore. And the wait for PC has kind of quelled the desire to have that game. Right. So I don't see myself as missing it as much. And I know, Paris, you and I were chatting about this, briefly before we went live. Fallout 76 may have been the one that actually did that for me. Having played the beta over the last couple of opportunities that it went live, really, really kind of quelled that thirst for the Red Dead Redemption. Kind of similar, gives me that same action-adventure exploration vibe without having to go with the whole Cowboys and Indians experience. I'm just fine. And again, I haven't played Red Dead Redemption, so I don't know, but I always appreciate a good co-op experience, sometimes over a single player, and Fallout 76 gives me that. So at this point, no, I don't see myself going towards Red Dead Redemption. And it gives me time to actually wait for the PC port if it ever happens. And right now, I'm just waiting for Fallout 76 to go live.
Yeah, isn't it? There's like an update for that game, Fallout 76. I think it's like 54 gigs.
Yep, 54
day one patch.
Day one patch is 54 gigs.
More than the game.
More than the beta. Because remember, the beta was basically the full thing, but for most betas and other early release opportunities like that, they don't give you all the assets. So, and this is going to give you, on top of assets, it's going to give you more map size. It's going to be fixes, updates, patches, more things to do. So
I'm quite interested to see how this launch goes and people's opinions, because quite like Red Dead, I'm really not interested in Fallout 76, but I'm like, I want to be the person on the side with the popcorn, like watching everything happen. With some of the mishaps from the beta, I have question marks about how the full launch is going to go.
Like, what are the things that are worried about?
It's been mixed, though. Yeah.
Well, wasn't there like a bug that accidentally like wiped the entire beta, like deleted it from computers?
And that happened I think it was like 4 hours before it went live, and they fixed it within that first hour, and they opened up the gateways so that people could download it quicker.
Yeah, so it's less that I think like something is going to go terribly wrong, and more that I think there will be like these kind of funny mishaps, and I'm quite interested to see what does happen, because it's the first time they're doing something of this style. And then I'm just not like, this is one of those games I might pick up eventually if I have enough friends playing it that I'm like, oh, it's worth giving a try, but I'm not like inherently interested myself. So I'm also quite looking to see everybody's first impressions once like the full game is live and you're going into the world with your buddies and things to like a greater degree than the beta.
Yeah, and I know another thing that people were concerned about was the griefing in Fallout. I only had one experience where I had a much higher level character in my vicinity. They were wanted, which meant that they had already done multiple PvP kills and they had a wanted level. But they came over to me, they saw me, I saw them, they waved, I waved, they gave me the heart emoji, I gave them the heart emoji, and then he walked away and he went the opposite direction. Not gonna lie though. No, not gonna lie. I had that feeling as if I was in the Division and I was in the DZ and I was just
the Dark Zone.
I was
waiting for him to turn around.
I was just waiting for the moment where I was gonna get clapped and go to sleep, and it didn't happen. And I was like, I have all my junk. I can go. I'm out. Bye.
Exit stage left.
And I was gone. And but that's part of the whole PvP experience. That's part of that anxiety that you don't know what's gonna happen. And so I'm okay with that. So that being said, right now, Fallout 76 ranks a little bit higher on that scale as to whether I'm going to go all in on Red Dead Redemption. I don't have the need to do it anymore because it satisfies that itch.
Paris is smiling. She doesn't believe it. Because you know what I think it is? And Paris, you tell me if you agree with me. Once that online mode comes out, it's going to be a game changer for Pete.
Oh, for Red Dead? Well, I mean, look at GTA 5. Like, the big deal was GTA Online coming out.
Right, so... and I've done maybe an hour of GTA Online. It has nothing for me. So, Danny,
my thing at this point isn't what Pete thinks about Red Dead or whether he plays it or not. And because I'm not you, Danny, and I've actually talked online about this, so this isn't a surprise to him. I've not played Fallout 76. I've not played the beta. I'm literally only going by what I've seen on social media and just with various impressions on sites. It just does not look like a good game to me. But that's me. And to Pete, obviously it is. He's played it. He's experienced it. He feels compelled enough to want to throw his money at it, and that's fine. I need more convincing, personally, because I'm not seeing it. And I'm very worried about that PC version because Bethesda... This looks like they're going to try and fix this on the fly instead of launching with a proper PC version. And that concerns me as well. And it looks, being in security, it looks like you can hack the hell out of this game. And that concerns me as well. So I am definitely not picking this up.
I was going to say, like, the closest example, I guess, for Bethesda would be what? ESO? To, like, doing something of this scale on PC? Because everything else was single-player RPGs. So, like, in terms of, like, multiplayer. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those where, like, I've never been a huge Fallout fan, so I'm cool with waiting to decide on 76, and I had no interest in Red Dead Redemption, so.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Episode 812.
Wait, already?
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, everybody.
We'll argue another time, Paris.
Oh, we still have the after show.
Well, I know he's trying to wrap it up, but I'll say this since I wasn't on last episode and I was on the plane flying back from Sweden listening to this and I almost got a parachute, jumped out, and this is what Mandy is here. That whole Diablo Blizzard thing, I will just simply say, know your audience, know who you were talking to at that time, and temper expectations accordingly. They easily could have fixed this instead of having the outrage about Diablo, the mobile game. It has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, but those people were going to be salty regardless.
No. But hear me out. I think the Diablo mobile game will be fine. This has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah.
But when you're at an event, which is your event, which has your most hardcore audience from around the world who has spent their money to be there, and you make that as your crown jewel announcement, don't be shocked when they're not happy about it. Look, the guy that got up and said the little snarky April Fool's thing, he's an a-hole. He should not have stood up and said that. That is ridiculous, and that's part of the problem with our society today, that you feel that you can be disrespectful like that and say something like that. Not arguing that at all. But to think that your hardcore audience is going to be excited about a Diablo mobile when you know they're expecting a Diablo 4, it's tone deaf to me. It's very tone deaf. They could have fixed it. And again, rumor, whatever it could have been, if they were thinking of announcing a Diablo 4, just put a screenshot up. That's it. Say, hey, we're working on it, TBD. That's it. And then that completely changes the narrative of everyone being so upset at that event. And that's all I'm saying on it. Whatever.
Could they have done it better? But I'm sorry, anybody who thought Diablo 4 was going to get announced right now obviously doesn't know their history. It's 12 years normally between games. Like, it's the pipe dream to say that you were going to get an announcement at this point. Like,
that was the exact same thing I said last week on the show. Yes.
Like, okay,
From 1 to 2 was 6 years. From 1 to 2 was 6 years. 2 to 3 was 12 years. Then they had the Reaper of Souls release that came out on console. But if anybody thought it was going to be shorter than that, no. Expect.
Like, if we get it in 8 or 10 years, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Expect it maybe in 19 or 20 or something like that. An announcement.
No. But here, I will say that Paris is not incorrect, that framing it and knowing your audience is relevant. I think we've seen other developers, for example, it's not exactly the same, but like Bethesda with Fallout Shelter was like, oh, well, here we've given you Fallout 4, and then, oh, by the way, Fallout Shelter. And so, like, there's ways they could have framed it better, but ultimately, this was the opening keynote. Like, it's not like this was the center of the event. So it's their event. They can kind of do what they want. And for all that a lot of people are complaining, at the same time, those people are probably also going to play the mobile game and spend money on it. So it's one of those where it's like, yes, could they have framed it in a better way? Do I think that they're, in the wrong? No. Do I think that they should have anticipated some of the response? Sure. But also, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm like a hardcore Diablo fan that I was like, oh, I wasn't even expecting a Diablo 4 announcement at this point because I know how this goes with them. They take years. I was not, even with rumors, I was not anticipating them making that announcement at the show.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my opinion. I already mentioned what I feel about it, but I totally agree with you, Andy. The same people that complain, the same people are going to buy. This is going to happen, man.
But that's not... Yeah. That's not the point, though. The point isn't the people. The point is Blizzard, the company, coming out and the way they framed it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, of course, the same people that are complaining, of course they're going to buy it. Of course, they always do. This is a society where all we do is bitch and complain about everything, right? I'm not denying that. I'm just saying they could have done a better job of framing the mobile announcement of Diablo. It came out, people got upset because they were like, wait, this is the next version of Diablo? What the frick are you doing? Where's Diablo 4? They could have framed it better. They could have just been like, while we work on the next edition of Diablo, in the meantime, here's this mobile version we're doing and we think you're going to love it. Done.
Well, I also think that's first off, that's a lot of idiots, because anybody that assumes that they're just going to drop core Diablo and go to mobile is living in a dreamland. But then the other thing too is, like, I don't know, I guess it's one of those where I'm not familiar enough with BlizzCon to know the what the typical, like, what the focus is there. And I get that it's like a fan event, but I'm not sure or familiar enough with how often they have investor focus. So some of the things that they're going to probably pay attention to is like, what can we put out and then have the fans react to? But, like, it's also one of those where know your audience, but I hate this mentality. It's like, okay, well, we have to only cater to our hardcore audience. So, like, because they're the only ones that are here, they're the only ones that matter for this announcement. Because that's frustrating.
I will say this. Your casual audience is the audience that comes and goes, right? Your hardcore audience, just literally the discussion we had with Destiny. Your hardcore audience, they're the ones that are going to stay. They're the ones that are going to ride or die. So making again, with being married, happy wife, happy life, right? If Roxanne is upset, then the whole house is upset. That's the way I look at it with the hardcore audience, right? you need to make them happy first before you worry about a casual audience. And again, when you're at an event with your most hardcore people and you're talking to them directly in the crowd, of course, making an announcement like that is going to make them upset. That's all I'm saying. And that's it. Just be mindful of who you're talking to at that time. That's all I'm saying.
Anything else?
Well, all right. So there's multiple things about this whole fiasco, I guess is probably the best way to say it. The fact that they ignored the fact that D4 is coming out and tried to supplant it with the D4 with the Diablo mobile thing was one thing. When days afterwards, when it started getting leaked that there was a D4 that they wanted to release but they weren't ready for it, as Paris said, yes, they could have come around and said, look, we know you guys are looking forward to this, but we're not ready to. And then do and we hope that this is what we hope that this will hold you over until we're ready for the announcement. There's multiple ways of handling this. I know some people don't like it, but I mean, and I may have to moonwalk on this. There are some people, there's some people in our Twitch chat right now that were actually there at the conference. If you spent $100 something or $200 to go there, those are the people that are going to sit there and support your title over the next 5 or 6 years in between launches, right? Or in this case, maybe longer. We're talking 8 to 10 years. Those are the people that are going to constantly be feeding your title for the next 6 to 8 years, as opposed to the Dannies who may just come in for the quick, oh, let me check this out for 4 hours, and then, oh, it's not for me, bounce.
First of all, more than 4 hours.
Well, no. But, and that's, really? I think it's, unfortunately, it's a line that we're having to measure, because it is a little bit of, yes, first off, not having gone to BlizzCon, for all that I love StarCraft and I love Diablo and I've been playing and giving money to those franchises for years, it's one of those where I'm the keynote is one portion of it, right? So being oh, they wasted their money by making this announcement during the keynote, that's one portion of all the things that happened during BlizzCon, is a little frustrating, because you're assuming that the money they put to their ticket was only for the announcements that happened during the keynote. And then as has popped up, and Cypher said this much better than I tried to articulate earlier in the chat, is that again, I get that there's an idea of you wanting to deliver against the people that are your fans that stay here through thick and thin and that will continue to spend money. But again, it's that idea of do you cater to them to the detriment of others? Because if you look at Fallout Shelter, they made bank off of that mobile game, and that came both from hardcore fans and from casual people who just never really had the want to get into a full Fallout game.
Let me ask you a question.
Go.
Did Bethesda announce Fallout Shelter as the crown jewel of their keynote at QuakeCon? Nope. They did it as an after announcement during an E3 press conference. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's the same thing. Know your audience.
Yeah, you can frame it, but the BS that they're getting for this is just basically people being, hurt. Oh, they made a mobile announcement when I wanted this.
Again, know your audience. Know the people and I see in the chat, entitlement, gamer entitlement, all that. Look, if I spend $2,000 freaking dollars to travel across the country to come to Anaheim, California.
Oh yeah, and you lost all of 2 minutes, 5 minutes for a keynote for a multi-day event.
It's in the moment. All I'm saying is this: that these are the people that ride or die for you, right?
Some of them. These are some of the people that ride or die for you.
I'm just saying.
The vocal minority, I think.
That's the thing. It's you can know your audience. Could they have framed it better? 100%. I'm not arguing that there was a better way. But the crap that they're getting, you're just being oh, well, they could have framed it better. Everything else is irrelevant. No, everything else is not irrelevant. That is one part of a multi-part conversation here. It's dude.
Of course it is.
And part of my argument is hey, guess what? I know, because I'm one of these people. I've been here since the Diablo 1, since the original StarCraft, since the earlier Warcrafts. I didn't like them as much as the others. But, it's one of those where it's they're a portion. This is a portion. I was disappointed in that moment, but all these people are carrying that moment into weeks of, oh, damn you, Blizzard, and all of these greater things where it's no, just hey, I was unhappy. That wasn't cool. All right, now let's go on. Like, time to move on, guys. Guess what? Diablo 4 is going to come at some point. Probably not this year. Probably not next year.
And
You're
people are
not
going to
losing
complain about
everything.
Diablo 4 too. I could see something from that game too that's going to start a controversy too, man.
Oh yeah, people get angry all the time about Blizzard announcements.
Yeah,
You know how it is.
It's content. At least there's content coming. That's what I see it.
I don't know. I disagree with the way Danny just said that. I really disagree with the way Danny just said that.
You know what? I'm gonna say something to the chat real quick, because let's not frame it this way, because that is not what I'm saying. Just because you can afford to go to BlizzCon does not make you a better fan than someone that does not. But the people that can't afford to go, again, these are the hardcore people that will spend money and support your product. That is all I'm saying. So let's get past this entitlement nonsense. It's not about entitlement. It's about talking to the audience that you know
be transparent with your audience and
That's
letting
all
them
I'm
know.
saying. It's like, God, it's like
it go, and I agree, Paris. I agree with you, but to me personally, I think it also goes both ways, man. The audience also gotta, respect the process too, Paris. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we agree with that. We're both. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Blizzard should have made a little bit better when it comes to the announcement. That's fine, but that's the thing. That's their event. That's their product.
Oh, you do whatever you want.
Yeah,
look, Blizzard can do whatever they want. All I'm saying is Monday morning quarterbacking it. Looking back, is I think they could have done a better job with the announcement. That's all. It's not about gamer entitlement and what they want and they demand. They get what they get. You ain't getting Diablo 4 right now. You're getting the Diablo mobile game. I just think you could have messaged that a little better so that you set expectation on it. Again, I think the mobile game's going to be fine. I don't think there's them putting out a mobile Diablo game. That's freaking great. I just think that audience, that they're not going to be happy with not hearing anything about Diablo 4, so just frame it a little better. That's all.
Yep.
I guess like the comments about the immediate of here's what they did, they could have done better during the keynote versus mine is the bigger controversy that it's occurred. So it wasn't just the keynote moment, it's everything that's following it afterwards. Like the people that are going out of their way to go dislike the video on YouTube and things like that are two different conversations. And I'm ultimately more concerned about the larger scale of this is what happened past the keynote and why I don't think it's okay versus the exact comment that Paris is making right here, which is, yes, the exact way that they handled the keynote could have been framed better. And I agree with that. They could have made that less detrimental to them. But in the larger scale of what's happening here, the way people are taking it past that moment into how they're reacting to other things from the company, into going out of their way to make it worse. The dude talking about the April Fool's joke, like that's where I think the issue is here. And that's more of what my concern is and why I'm having this conversation is like, one, how you message during a show is different about how everybody continues to drag it through the mud past that, and why I think that there's an issue that should be addressed here, which is not going like, oh, they should have framed it better. Okay, the conversation's done. We just won't touch everything else that's happening as well. Because it does tie into like people being like, oh, this is what I wanted, or oh, I spent this money to get this portion, this one portion of here's what I felt into a larger like, oh, my show's now ruined. Like, no, all the other stuff is still there.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, because I honestly I don't know what's going on in the chat. So I know you guys mentioned the chat a couple of times.
Oh, we know you don't know what's going on. You don't read.
So I don't have my browser open. I've been having issues with my computer. I just
he's like, I just record. I ignore everything else.
He can't multitask. We know this. He doesn't multitask.
Yeah. So yeah, head over to gamertagradio.com, post your comments and feedback. You could also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. All right, Mandy, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for joining this episode.
It's always fun. It's good.
Yeah.
Hop in again.
You were going to say something, Paris?
No, I was going to say you forgot to also say you can find this on the Atari 7800.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
The Vectrex.
And ColecoVision.
And the Vectrex.
Commodore 64.
Yeah.
In television.
By the way, Paris, you read about ColecoVision coming back?
Yes. Again, that was that console in the 80s that I didn't have, that I always I used to be over his house playing it all the time, man.
Oh, there you go. All right. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here until next time. Oh, Mandy, if people want to follow you, mention your Twitter account.
You can find me on Twitter at Ladyluck34.
Oh, before we end this, see?
Oh
this
my God,
Mandy,
we're never gonna finish.
I know we're never gonna finish, but see what happens when Mandy comes on and get me started. It happens every time.
I told you that was us here.
That's it.
That's it.
So you said we were gonna never end it, so I was quiet. You want to keep going?
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Until next time. Peace.
See ya. Dun, 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 dun.
That was cool.
All right.
Yeah, what the chat's been saying.
No, again, it's not about who the people that can afford to go versus the people that can't afford to go isn't the issue, because the people can't afford to go, they're going to be just as upset as the people that are there, because again, these are the hardcore people.
Guess what? I'm not upset.
But I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying that.
So hardcore people that aren't Mandy is what you mean.
Yes, that's what I'm always saying. Again, it's not about the people. It's about the way they communicated it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
It's funny because I know there's a couple of YouTube videos. There was people that actually boo at during the press conference, and they got to play the game, and they liked the game. And they really enjoyed the game, the mobile game. It's like,
well, it's I guess like part of
my video about it too.
My general frustration here with this too, and this is like me personally, is that it creates this idea of like people being like, well, mobile games aren't cool or they're not for the hardcore, and it's like it continues to set this line of, you know, what's acceptable games versus what's not acceptable games. And that's frustrating for me, because like it perpetuates that whole thing of, you know, oh well, console and PC are hardcore games, and that's not the right thing.
I think this is gonna help get a whole new fan base that doesn't have consoles. They only rely on mobile games or tablet games, and I think this is gonna help a lot of people discover Diablo. Like, look, I never played Diablo until recently when it came out for the Switch. I've never purchased it for the console. I don't have a PC. And Mandy, look, we've been playing for hours. My brother just got it, and we're planning to play online. And I know that's an old game, Diablo 3, right? But I'm loving the game. Like, I even stopped playing Red Dead because, first of all, I'm really far in the game. I don't want to like end it too soon. But I stopped playing Red Dead because, you know, now I could play, Diablo with not only with you, Mandy, but I also could play this with our listeners and with my brother now online. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's cool, man. So I think Blizzard announcing this for mobile, I think that's gonna help get a whole new audience that never played Diablo, man. I think that's
it's funny that you should say that, because I actually was at an event I was performing at a show yesterday, and I was chatting with a couple people afterwards that I knew, and one of the people we were BSing about like what games we were playing was like, oh, I'm playing Diablo for the first time ever on the Switch. I'm like, that's so exciting.
Yeah, that's dope. I even mentioned it to a friend of ours that she works at Blizzard, because she also worked on this game and also for the mobile game. And I mentioned like, yo, this is my first time playing Diablo on the Switch. And she was like, oh my God, I'm happy. Let us know what you think. And I was like sending her, messages, like my thoughts and everything. It's dope. And I know Pete was the one that actually got me thinking like, man, should I buy this game for the Xbox? Like, cause Pete played was that your first time playing Diablo, Pete, for that system or no?
Yes, Diablo 3 was my first.
Your first, okay.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself playing the mobile version once it comes out? No. Okay.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I've got way too many. I've got 5 mini games going on right now. I don't have time. I really don't have time.
That's fine. But it was good. Great conversation.
You guys hear my dog crying over here?
And we gotta get the Shield in the division too.
Yep, that's happening tonight.
Yep.
What time? What time do you want to do this, Paris?
I'm around whenever you want.
Okay, because I'm going from here. I'm going to the gym, taking my nephew to the gym. So we're gonna do that for a little bit, and then come back, and then I'm free for the rest of the day. So
I can't.
Okay, well then, after football, after I watch the Bucks fucking lose.
Hey, more happy birthday!
Miami's not doing great, man. Miami has been having a very terrible season when it comes to sports, man. Holy
I feel
crap.
like most of the Florida teams.
Yup.
Man.
Oh, dude, the state of Florida with football right now is like when Central Florida is the crown jewel of football. Oh my God. Ugh.
Things have gone wrong.
Yep.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Heat doing bad. Canes, bad. Yo, it's like, man, what the hell's going on,
Dude, by the way, speaking of the Heat, how did the Sixers get Jimmy Butler for freaking trash?
I have no idea.
How did they do that?
Because
I can't.
So part of that part of that
reaction.
part of that story is the deal was basically done for Josh Richardson, a first rounder, and somebody else. And then right as Pat Riley was okay with it, Thibodeau came in and was like, no, and I want Justice Winslow and another first round pick. And that's when Pat Riley hung up the phone and was like, F you, I'm not dealing with you anymore.
But that's the crazy thing. It was like, even the deal without the extra was still better than what they got from the Sixers. So it's like, why did you take that Sixer deal? And then allegedly the Rockets were trying to give him 4 first-round picks. Maybe that was just rumor.
Yeah.
But still, I can't believe. I mean, they literally got 50 cents on the dollar for Jimmy Butler. They really did.
Yeah. It's
no
crazy.
sense to me.
It's crazy.
Also, I'm glad all of you got to argue with Susie during the show.
I know, I was cracking up. Like, I see her climbing up, chilling, playing with the mic.
And like sitting here, like trying to turn the chair so that I can be in front of instead of the dog.
Yeah.
She had things to say, apparently.
Yeah.
And Bo Sox, I think
anything
Miami, I think if anybody, Miami does have the infrastructure in place to be able to deal with a player with his type of personality. They've done it in the past, and they've all succeeded. So I don't think that's an issue. I mean, hell, when you've got a rookie coach being able to handle the multiple personalities of Wade and LeBron and Bosch, player mentalities such as Ray Allen, who everybody knows has been difficult to deal with, Shane Battier, and the whole host of other players that have gone through there. Chris Anderson, look at the Birdman, dude. So I don't think that is the issue. I think it was something else in the back end from a negotiation standpoint.
By the way, to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service, Paris. Thank you for your service. I know
Thank you.
your family too, Mandy, right? Your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your service.
Is it your brother too? Is he your brother too or no?
Yeah. My immediate family, everybody but me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your brother was at Miramar, right?
He was 10 years with the Marines. He just got out. And both my parents are retired Air Force.
And no, Bo Sox, I did not actually make the car purchase. I don't know if you caught me earlier. I was at a Jaguar event down in Miami, and so got to do test drives of the F-Pace and the E-Pace on a circuit. So I did not. I think we talked about this prior to going live. The wife is the one that is slated to get the next new car because I've gotten the last 3 new cars. So
Yeah, she's owed one at this point.
it's her. Yeah. She's next. She's got next. Yeah. So.
All right. So, hey Paris, quick question, man. You plan to do anything for Veterans Day?
What you mean today?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably play the Division with Pete. Why?
No, that's all. Just
none of your business what I do.
Yeah, wow. You see, I'm trying to have a conversation here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to.
No, I mean, like tomorrow, kids and stuff are out of school, but I have to work, so I'll be at work. Nothing. My mom is going to be here Thursday night for 2 weeks, so just looking forward to that. That's about it.
Oh, by the way, we have one more episode. And after that, we're going to take a break during Thanksgiving week. And we only have a couple episodes after that. And we're taking a couple weeks off until 2019. So, yeah, we definitely need that break, man. Definitely need that break. So, I think that's it. Anything else?
I know I mentioned it slightly when we're having the Destiny conversation. But, Trey doesn't play Destiny anymore, and I think I'm just gonna go full-time PC.
He's not playing any. What is he playing instead?
What do you think? Fortnite,
the monster,
Of
the
course.
beast.
Fortnite. I mean, he's literally playing Fortnite across mobile, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Like he taught himself mouse and keyboard to be able to play Fortnite on PC.
Wow.
That's how much he plays.
The power of Fortnite.
Yeah. That's the same thing with my nephews, man. That's all they play, man. The only one that he will stop playing Fortnite is my nephew Blake. Once Cuphead, the DLC comes out. Actually, my brother hit me up yesterday. My nephew was so disappointed. He thought they were gonna show something about Cuphead at X018. He was so upset, man. He went back to Fortnite. Like, man, forget about this, man. Hey, maybe Video Game Awards. He's just excited. He truly loves that game, man. Loves Cuphead so much. So
No interest in it. I was trying to show you guys that my dog now has her head right next to my mouse. But
you were gonna say something, Paris?
No, I was gonna say, and I don't know how they could do it, how the logistics would be. I actually thought part of the announcement with PUBG was gonna be they were going free to play. That's what I thought it was going to be. So going Game Pass was kind of them hedging their bets a little bit, But I think that's at this point. I think that's really the only way they're going to be able to truly compete with what Fortnite is doing. But maybe they're not even trying to compete at this point. I don't know. Which leads me to something else I want to say real quick, because I know I talked about that on the Battlefield impressions a little bit. That was the one thing from that event that I took was a disappointment to me. Is their battle royale is just a part of Tides of War, so it's going to come in the spring of 2019 because Criterion is the one that's actually developing it. So I didn't get to see it at all at the event, other than there was like a sizzle reel video of it. To me, for what Battlefield's trying to do, I think it's a mistake that's not available now. It should be available now, because I just think Call of Duty is going to eat its lunch. Blackout's going to eat its lunch. By the time Firestorm comes out, Blackout is going to gone through some revisions as far as patches. They're probably going to have a new mode out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're already going to be behind the 8 ball when you compare the two.
I don't know though, because if you think about it, like PUBG got to come out first, yet Fortnite's kicking its butt. Like it's one of those where I get your point, but I also think on the opposite side, if they're planning to do something with it, like legitimately do something with it, then they have that extra time can let them come out and be able to say like, yeah, you've been playing that thing for 6 months. Well, look what we have now here.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's going to have a mode or a feature that makes it stand out from the pack. I've just not seen that mode yet. And if they're going to talk about it, they haven't shown it yet.
It's interesting for me because talking about like, some of the other games where the reality is like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Like, what do they want? Because from my marketing side, it can be like, hey, we already know we're going to get a ton of press at launch. Rather than having that mode be a footnote of that conversation, it might almost be better to come out several months later so that then you have like a second marketing opportunity that you're trying to send to everybody to be like, all right, now talk about our game again. And then we can make this the centerpiece of the conversation instead of a footnote to the game release. But that's the marketing. I know nothing about the mode to be able to say if that's actually how it's going to work out. That's just from a marketing.
And maybe that's how DICE and EA needs to present it, that when we get to the spring, that they literally treat Firestorm like it's a launch event. You know what I mean? Maybe have a big sale going on for Battlefield 5 at that time. Encourage people to want to go pick it up and to start playing it. Speaking on EA, another thing we didn't talk about in the show proper was in 7 Day, Mass Effect, and the fact that they've come out with that Xbox One X patch for Andromeda, and they've hinted that the future of Mass Effect, that they are going to be working on something, that we are going to get something new from Mass Effect, which is great. Hopefully, they just take the lessons learned of the mistakes that they did with Andromeda and just reboot this franchise and make it what it is. Because I had tweeted out that day, Mass Effect 2, one of the greatest games of all time, and it was funny Even at this event I was at Sweden, we were just randomly talking about games and stuff. And what was a franchise that kept coming up over and over? Mass Effect. Everybody loves Mass Effect. So
Fight me, Mass Effect 3.
It's 2. It's 2, Mandy. It's not 3.
It's 3. No. I had no problem with that ending. Fight me.
2 is good. 2, I think that ending of 2 remind me of like Empire Strikes Back, like that type of vibe, right, Paris? Mass Effect 2, like the story and the ending of 2 was so powerful, man. It was way better than 1 and 3. So yeah, 3. Well, yeah, I had no problems with the ending of 3, but the thing that I kind of disagree was BioWare changing the ending. I didn't like it.
I had so many, like, I was so unhappy with that.
Yeah,
I never saw that original ending because I only finished it when they changed the ending, so I never saw it.
Yeah, I didn't have any issue. Like, I mean, I don't know. I was late to the fandom. Like, I played Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 in the 6 months leading up to Mass Effect 3 releasing. So I didn't have, like, the years of history of having, like, expectations, but I felt like the ending was fine. Like, it's, you know, it was your ending. This is what you wrote. Stand by it. I'm assuming you wrote it for a reason.
Exactly.
I don't know. I felt I felt like all of the Mass Effects like got progressively better. But my thing with Mass Effect 3 is I felt like that was the first game where I actually had like the pressure of like having to make decisions on who to save versus Mass Effect 2 where it was just like, oh, you can save everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up here because I have to go.
Because Danny doesn't want to talk to us anymore.
Well, that doesn't mean we have to end it. Just gotta go.
Just means.
It's like, when did you become the boss of the Twitch stream? What do we want to do?
Bye.
Oh, first of all, you were not at TwitchCon. P is the boss of Twitch because he was at TwitchCon.
well, according to the conversation we were having earlier, there not doesn't. Does that make Pete more hardcore than I am?
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. You're not hardcore enough.
And if you're watching the stream, if you're watching the actual stream, I'm like hovering over the remove from group button right now to just bounce him out.
Listen, I've already accepted that I'm not a real gamer if I don't play Red Dead Redemption. So.
Yeah. No, Mandy, you're not a real gamer if you only play mobile games.
Oh yeah, you're also not a real gamer if you only play mobile games. What was the old one, like way back when in original Xbox, you weren't a real gamer if you didn't have at least 10,000 gamer score? Was that what it was?
Yeah, the achievements. Yeah, you have to like a certain amount of achievements and trophies. Yeah, I remember that. That was.
I remember I was at the time I had like 2,000, and everybody's just like, get out of here.
She's a fake gamer. Fake.
Some of us didn't care about achievements, okay?
Exactly.
Hey, yeah. Right. And a lot of those games back in the days was really hard to unlock achievements, especially Perfect Dark Zero. I was like, never just unlock an achievement from there. Yeah.
And this is why I didn't do it. Like, that's why I had a terribly low gamer score for a very long time.
So now the chat's saying, get out.
They're like, go home. We don't want to talk.
Go home. Get out.
Actually, no.
I gotta finish. Yeah, I gotta finish Better Call Saul, and I gotta go to the gym and do some other stuff.
You know what, Paris? Get out. You should leave too. Get out.
Bye. Bye. He's gone.
I'm done. God.
And there we go. We're done. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
By the way, Pete, we have an ad for this week. I'll do the next one.
Oh, I like how we said bye and then we keep talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
Get out. All right, cool.
I'll hit you up later.
All right. Well, by the way, shout out to any subscribers. I have no idea if there was any subscribers or donation. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. You don't do any of that. Shout out to SKO Syntax for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Shout out to XTerror818 for his Prime sub. Rat with his 16-month Twitch Prime. Keep up the good work. Nice to see Ladyluck back for a visit. Ill Skills 10 for the tier 1, Going Hunting 22 for the follow, and that is it for today.
All right, thanks everyone. Go to store.gamertagradio.com. Rock your shirts, and I believe there's ugly sweaters now too.
Oh God, ugly sweaters.
Yes.
All right, I'm off, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Danny,
All
I already sent you my audio for the show.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Mandy. It was fun.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Peace, everyone. Bye.